This is BofC Live, the video and podcast series of Business of Cannabis. Find out all that we do at businessofcannabis.com. Coming up on this BofC Live, we connect with Jason Tarasek of Minnesota Cannabis Law. We're going to connect with Jason about recent news in that state, about a recent court decision that impacts CBD retailers, CBD patients, CBD customers, and the industry overall. This is Jason Tarasek from Minnesota Cannabis Law. Jason Tarasek from Minnesota Cannabis Law. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Jay Rosenthal.
Hi. I follow you. Well, I follow you anywhere, but I follow you on Twitter and LinkedIn more specifically, and will encourage people to do that. And what I noticed over the past couple of weeks, there are things happening in Minnesota that seem backwards. And so I wanted to connect with you. Tell me what's going on. And I think it relates to CBD sales and stores, but I may be wrong.
Yep, it is hitting the fan, Jay. It is hitting the fan, as if the Omicron wasn't enough. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get an odd mixture of sports, politics, cannabis, occasional pet photos.
And that's why you're good to hang out with, but yes.
If you're into that sort of thing. So yes, what is happening here? It is absolute mayhem for the CBD retailers in the hemp industry. Minnesota, like most states, in 2018 passed a hemp statute that expressly allowed for the growing and processing and sale of hemp and hemp derivatives. So CBD stores have popped up all across the state, from Fergus Falls to Lanesboro to Rochester, Duluth. Look at that. And, they've been doing well. Perhaps there were too many initially, so there's been a bit of contraction. I'm sure most states are going through that as the gold rush has subsided a bit. In most states that do not have recreational, or I should say adult use marijuana, Delta 8 was flying off the shelves. And so, frankly, as an industry, we're anticipating that Delta 8 might be getting some attention from the regulators. But then out of nowhere, really, there was a decision from the Minnesota Court of Appeals that said when Minnesota passed its hemp statute that for whatever reason, the legislature forgot to remove THC from Minnesota's Controlled Substances Act, which, oops. Kind of a problem, So they said THC of any amount is
of any amount.
Of any amount. So, as you know, the hemp statute, both federally and at the state level, allows for 0.3% THC to be sold in CBD products. Well, Minnesota Court of Appeals said THC in any amount, even trace amounts, is illegal and is a controlled substance, will expose you to criminal penalties. And this was a criminal case that this arose from. So frankly, it wasn't really on my radar, but it certainly got a lot of attention very quickly. And it has inspired some police chiefs in rural Minnesota to begin cracking down on CBD shops, because citing this case, it's called the Loveless case, State v. Loveless. They're saying, well, anything with THC is now a controlled substance. You may not sell it. So,
and even trace amounts in hemp-derived products.
Correct. And I believe that the court decision was wrongly decided. My opinion doesn't count for much at the moment.
It does with me.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. It is being appealed to the Minnesota Supreme Court. They have accepted the appeal. I will be assisting in filing an amicus brief to show the devastating impact the decision has had on both CBD retailers and their customers, right? Because possession is the problem, no matter in what form. And we're also pursuing a legislative solution to that. I think just about anybody who understands the situation and the intent behind the hemp law realizes that this is not the intent when we legalize hemp and hemp derivatives. So we're trying to fix the problem.
And it seems to be a step backwards where, well, surrounding states are moving forwards, but also fairly arcane in that trace amounts of THC and hemp-derived products have been talked about for a long time. We were in 2019 having conversations about how to get, how to remediate hot hemp in,
Yep.
States all over. So is there a sense in the industry that this is a setback, or is this sort of a one-off with, I don't know, aggressive policing, or is this a hurdle to really be jumped to even get any sort of legalization efforts forward at all?
Well, I think you might find that the same people who are scared of marijuana tend to be a little bit scared of CBD. Even you can tell them that it's not the same, right? But I think for prohibitionists, they tend to associate both of those things together. We have a complicated path to legalization in Minnesota, legalization of adult use marijuana. It has to pass through the legislature. We do not have a ballot initiative process like they do in South Dakota, where, as you know, the voters approved medical marijuana and adult use marijuana on the ballot in 2020. For various reasons, adult use has been scrapped. Medical marijuana is proceeding, but we don't have that process here in Minnesota. So yeah, it is a step back because all we have here are CBD and Delta 8 derived from hemp available for sale. So it was a blow, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see sort of how the state approaches what's happening, because certainly the tide is against this type of sort of aggressive enforcement of benign substances, I would say, relatively benign, and how the state reacts, legislatures, most importantly, when surrounding states start to legalize and not even move quickly, but just move, right? Because it'll be interesting to watch. And Minnesota's on people's radar, right? I mean, I think there was just a acquisition by Green Thumb of a company in Minnesota, and eyeing, I saw the CEO of Green Thumb tweet about the relative size of Minnesota and Colorado, right? I mean, things are on the move, and this seems like an interesting hiccup along the way, as shitty as it is.
Yeah. So Minnesota is odd in that we do have a medical program, but we only have 2 medical marijuana providers, and one of them, not Vireo Health anymore, Green Goods, has been rebranded as Green Goods. The second one was recently acquired by Green Thumb, which I think is owned by Jack Daniels, perhaps. I don't know if you know about that, but big company, right? And I think that move is being driven because we've opened up our medical program a bit by allowing both for the sale of raw flower. Right. We hadn't allowed that until recently, and for the sale of edibles, which we anticipate that each of those things is going to attract more patients to the program. And yeah, I think the populations of Minnesota and Colorado are about the same. So yeah, the medical program at least is attracting more interest. But there's still this prohibitionist mindset among a lot of regulators here. We're trying to get our governor's attention because these state agencies obviously work for him. We've sent him a letter saying, hey, this is what's happening to us. Please help. Because he's indicated that if we get a legalization bill on his desk, he'll sign it. We thought he was a friend of the industry, and his agencies are acting differently. And beyond the sort of Court of Appeals problem, we also have state agencies saying that any tinctures, any gummies containing CBD are illegal because they're food, and we can't allow for CBD in food. That to me is also a misinterpretation of the law. So
you're getting it coming and going.
Say what now?
You're getting it coming and going.
My gosh. Yeah. I mean, I've been on the phone all morning trying to put out fires. I don't know which one to put out first. They're sort of all. Initially, we knew what the top priority was, but then there becomes a new priority. It's becoming very, very difficult to be a CBD retailer in Minnesota, and some people they're leaving. They're setting up shop elsewhere. I mean, that's how the market works. If it's not going to work here, they're going to go somewhere else.
Right. It's an okay time to be the Minnesota cannabis lawyer, though.
It's busy time. Yes,
it'd be better if we were actually moving the industry forward as opposed to playing defense on, not silly, but things you thought were well covered.
It's ludicrous. I've seen how CBD helps people, but the stigma is real. And misinformation and wrongful interpretations of statutes it's hurting people. That's infuriating.
Yeah. Well, Jason, I hope you'll continue to come back to give us an update about where things are with the case at the Supreme Court, but also sort of how retailers are dealing with it on the ground related to enforcement. As always, it's nice to see you, if not face to face, then at least see your face and hear your voice from Minnesota Cannabis Law.
Thank you, Jack. Great to see you too. I'd love to come back.
Yeah, well, anytime. You're welcome in Toronto. Well, not really.
No,
you can only come with a series of PCR tests and come during lockdown. But hopefully we will see you in the coming year. Happy New Year, Jason. Thanks for joining us.
Happy New Year.
That was Jason Tarasek from Minnesota Cannabis Law. If you like this program, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you heard the show. It helps support the work we do. We're able to do what we do because of ongoing partnerships with Alterna Savings, Cannabis at Work, Cannabis Benchmarks, Can Delta, Gallagher, Headset, and Torque & Main. Find out all that we do at businessofcannabis.com.